comfortably. Obviously you can like change your leg position if knees are uncomfortable or anything. Legs can even come out straight if that is better for your body right now. And you can begin to just soften the eyes or close them, allowing your hips, pelvis to sink down as you allow the crown to lift. So coming to that middle place of both grounded and lifted, finding that balance in this moment. And beginning to tune into your body, sensing the skin, the fascia, the muscles, bones, and organs. Perhaps sensing how the diaphragm expands and contracts back up as you breathe. And if you'd like, you can begin to extend the length of the breath, feeling the diaphragm expand down as you inhale, and as you exhale, it rebounds back up. Creating your three-dimensional Dirga breath in your body this afternoon. Sensing how the whole torso expands and contracts. The whole rib cage and chest frame growing and returning. And on your next inhale, let the hands come by the hips and reach up and around. Palms touch, and on exhale, let the palms melt down the center line of the body. Few more just like that. Allowing your breath to guide your movement. Taking one last one. Allowing the hands to melt back into the lap. And taking the legs out in front of you, long. Hands can rest on the thighs as you begin to find some little bounces at the knee. So just bringing some movement into the legs here. You can rub the legs top to bottom a little bit. And when the torso is in a neutral position, you might find some ankle circles, one direction and the other. Continuing to find your smooth breath. And then when you're ready, go ahead and come off whatever you're sitting on. The hands will come behind you, and they can, the fingers can point whatever direction's comfortable for the wrists, allowing the knees to bend so that the feet find the mat, and go ahead and take them mat distance apart. As you inhale, press down into the hands to lift through the chest. And as you exhale, let the knees drop over to the right. Inhaling through center and exhaling over to the left. Allowing the eyes to soften or close, allowing yourself to come back inside. Resting attention in the hips, in the pelvis and belly. In the lifted chest. And you might move a little on your mat. You can readjust as needed. And you can stay right here, or you can begin to press that top hip a little closer to the bottom knee. So you can even place your hand on the hip and just press into the hand. So finding a longer stretch across the hip flexor from side to side. Letting the feet be nice and wide. Are you finding a stretch there, Christine?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The hips are really waking up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yes, there they are.
Coming back to the breath. Coming back to that beginning, middle, and end, feeling every part of this movement side to side. And we'll begin to add a little bit more twist so the opposite arm can come gently around toward the side that your knees are rocked toward. I like to coordinate this with my breath, but I know some people who it feels better to kind of move a little faster or a little slower. So find what feels right for you. Next time that you come over to your right, find your twist and then plant that left hand down. And just hang out for a few rounds of breath. That hand could also find a block if it needs a little extra height in order for you to find a rest in this opening for the hip, in this spinal twist. Finding 3 more deep, full breaths right here. So we'll go ahead and come through center. So gently place that hand back behind you and we'll come to the other side. So you can find as gentle as a twist as you need here. And as we said, find as much room or as little room between the legs that feels comfortable for your pelvis and your hips. And we'll just find about 5 breaths here. Allowing the jaw to soften, the shoulders to soften. And just bringing as much tenderness as you can to this moment. And on your next inhale, we'll come back through center. Maybe take the legs out long with the hands behind you and just find a little shaking again. Or anything else. Flexing and pointing the toes. Coming back to a sort of similar hip position, either knees stacked or they can be wider, whatever works. I use blocks here, but that's because I have really short arms. So I use the blocks to just frame my left knee. So fingers can also just be planted on the ground. And so just a version of kind of like a cat-cow here. So pressing down into the floor, lengthening through the spine, lifting the chest, perhaps lifting the chin slightly. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, hinge at the hip, dive over that thigh, nose toward the ground. And then tuck the chin in, tuck the tail, curling the spine. And as you lift up on an inhale, unravel the spine, coming into your arched back. And exhale back over, tucking in. Inhaling, unfurling, expanding up. And exhaling, pouring over. So finding this circle a few times as it works for your body. It may be deeper, it may be more subtle than what I was demonstrating. So whatever feels good for you. And now that you're in this cycle for a few more rounds of breath, coming into the middle of it. How are you connected to the movement? How are you connected to your lungs and heart as you move here? Couple more breaths. The next time that you inhale and lift up, reach nice and tall, and as you exhale, plant the left hand into the ground in line with your hip. And wrap the right hand around the ribs on the left side. On your inhale, press your ribs into your hand, reaching your side body toward your grounded arm. And as you exhale, squeeze your ribs in. So finding a pulse here, stretching through that left side, and then rebounding back. Like your breath is water and your lung is a sponge. On exhale, squeezing out. And then you can begin to find any other movement that comes from this on this side. So there could be a pulse front and back a little bit. There might be a spiral or circle. Sensing if you can let your left lung guide the movement. And when you're ready, coming to stillness, Pressing yourself through center, crossing the legs for a moment. You can let both hands find the lap. And taking a couple of breaths to feel the left side and the right side of your body. Feeling your seat and breath. And when you're ready, bringing your knees to the right, so coming to the other side. Again, the knees can be stacked. The left thigh can be with the sole of the foot or anywhere in between. So find what works for you here. Hands come next to the knee. Torso turns slightly toward the thigh. And on your inhale, press down, lengthen, and expand through the chest. And as you exhale, hinge over that thigh, curling into the spine a bit. And on your inhale, expanding back into that cow, into that extension. And as you hinge forward, on exhale, beginning to flex the spine, coming back through your extension. So finding this wave in your spine. Allowing your breath to both slow you down and moving from the breath. Allowing the inhale to expand, the exhale to come in. Taking one more breath here. Coming tall on the inhale. And then placing the right palm in line with the hip. Wrapping the left hand around the ribs. And on your inhale, expanding the ribs, feeling the stretch on the intercostal muscles. And as you exhale, hugging the ribs in, hugging the lung in. Finding this pulse here on the right side. Might be subtle, might be big, might be somewhere in between. Moving at a pace that allows you to come in. Allows you to feel that right lung. And beginning to sense what it's like, what it would be like to move from that lung. So finding any other movement that feels good on this side. Slowly slowing down, pressing yourself up to center, letting the legs come out in front of you. You might take the feet on the mat if that's helpful, and just gently walking yourself all the way down to your back. If you want a blanket or anything for our brief shavasana, feel free to find it. Finding a comfortable position for yourself here. Allowing the body to rest deeply, to ground, to soften into this holding place. Sensing the breath in the body. Aware of sound as it comes and goes in your awareness. And as you're ready, finding little movement, wiggling fingers and toes, eventually growing that movement to whatever's comfortable for you, whatever feels good in your body. Eventually taking yourself over to one side. No rush. Taking a couple of breaths right here. And gently pressing yourself up. Allowing the head to come up last. Allowing eyes to be soft or closed. the palms to come together at heart center. And sensing inside for a moment. May all beings know peace. Thank you.